Alright, so Esper tokens. Someone had asked, what the heck in Esper ends up making tokens? The answer is actually quite a lot of things. So we have Hero and Saheeli, which pump out a pretty significant number of tokens. And then we have Dovin as well as Karn that pump out an okay number of tokens. And then the Afterlife off Seraph of the Scales also ultimately ends up making some tokens. We were talking about various power couples in these Planeswalkers. There's so many good ones. Flibbit for President, coming in hot with the brand new Tier 1 sub. Welcome. And one of the pairs of Planeswalkers that we found that works really well together is we have Saheeli and Karn that work really well together. So, like, Saheeli pumps out a plethora of artifact tokens, and then Karn makes tokens that are huge based on the number of artifacts you have. And then Saheeli's down tick can make one of your weaker artifact tokens copy Karn's giant construct token, which is sweet. Dovin also makes artifact tokens, so that has a little bit of synergy with Karn. And then in the sideboard, we also have a couple of Narsets, because that card's also just great in this format in general. So with that, let's go ahead and dive on into some matches and see how this feels. Can this finally be the deck that drags us kicking and screaming into Diamond this season? Depose Deploy was omitted. Yeah, Depose Deploy is a card that, in terms of power level, is a little bit weak overall. And I don't think it's quite worth just playing because of the synergies with these. Well, welcome back, Flibbit. One of the things that's, like, always kind of an awkward tension in these decks is, am I supposed to play Hero first or am I supposed to Thought Erasure first? I think in the face of two breeding pools, we Hero first. We just want to get pressure down ASAP. This is likely indicative of a reclamation strategy. Listen, Punchworthy, I always pronounce usernames perfectly. I don't know what you're talking about. Alright, so do I Thought Erasure here, or do I Teferi here? I think I just have to jam this. Like, it feels bad when I get sabotaged or negated, which we did not. God bless. Put that back where it came from. Maybe I'm supposed to wait a turn on bouncing that so I can Thought Erasure it. Although it doesn't really have text while Teferi's in place. We've got that going for us.
Trust me, I have a plan.
If I do this and I plus him, so if I plus him this turn, he goes to 6 and then he ults in, so he ults in 3 turns or 2 turns from now. If I minus him, he goes to 2, and then next turn I plus him and he goes to 7 because he gets +1/+4. So I think I actually minus him because it adds more pressure and he still ults in the same number of turns. Jesus, coming in hot with the 16-month resub. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yep.
You would make an excellent informant for
And if they elect to plus this Tamiyo, my Oath of Kaya actually kills the Tamiyo. It's really awkward that Dovin doesn't gain counters when my creatures hit Planeswalkers. Feels bad, man. Mune Bear, welcome, welcome. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now. Thanks for supporting mine this month with that. So the fact that I kind of need to kill this Tamiyo changes the counting I did the previous turn, which feels bad.
I guess you do not want to talk.
I agree. Oath of Kaya has been one of the cards that's performed much better than I was expecting it to when looking at spoiler season.
My research has been compromised.
Yeah, the opponent named Cleansing Nova.
Oh, I've done the hero thing before.
They did name Cleansing Nova. Probably just being cheeky. Actually, they probably just wanted to guaranteed get all 4 cards into their bin so they could flip the Azcanta. That's almost certainly what they were doing. They didn't want to accidentally name a card and draw it and then be further off of flipping this. I think Esper Hero is likely very good against these Reclamation decks. We have a ton of good tools for these matchups. My opponent agrees with our conclusion. Get out of here. That feels good. That felt good, chat. That felt good. Yeah, Teferi Bouncing Oath is also very good. I agree. You think Othakaya has a spot in Esper control? Yeah, definitely. I think some number of them is good. If you want to chew on Reclamation players, register Esper colors. Discard plus little Teferi plus Narset. Is this card good enough? Is hand good enough? I go first. As an opt, right? This opt could be anything. That's true. That's true. We did reduce the win rate of Nexus. And if our goal is to get Reclamation banned, we want them to win as much as they can. That's a Memorial to Genius, which means I want to dig aggressively for some pressure. So one thing, Mark, that I'd like to point out is I think it's unreasonable to assume someone's salty because they conceded a game or conceded the match after game one. Like, it's probably just a good use of your laddering time if you're conceding matchups that you're incredibly unlikely to win. Like, there's a reason why I concede to Nexus when I'm playing decks that can't beat it, right? And they're... I have no idea why people play this card. Actual none. Actual none. Oh, Augur of Bolas, never change. It does not, Chalky. So, the reason why my arena has a different metagame than your arena is you're confusing anecdotal evidence with being data. The reality of the situation is, even the 50 hours a week that I play Standard Constructed on this channel or so, the 40 hours, that's a very small sample size. And you shouldn't conflate the small amount I play here with saying this is representative of the format. Karn, even just Karn plus Dovin here, closes the game very quickly. And that's really the appeal of this archetype in my mind, is this archetype has so much closing power while also having reasonable disruption, which that 1-2 combination of closing power plus disruption is what makes it reasonable in the Nexus matchup. We're by no means guaranteed to win, but we're definitely a favorite most of the time. Like, here, if my opponent runs really good, we might not get another turn. How do you resist messing with your beard when you're in a tense situation? I talk with my hands a lot, so... there's that. Yeah, I agree, Lucas. More data would definitely be ideal. Might see them cycle Memorial to Genius here. They can also just, like, have Nexus in their hand and take a turn that way. There's 5 cards in their bin, so they're still a little bit off of, I like them drawing cards here, because it means my Thought Erasure is more likely to hit next turn. Historically speaking, Zombie, Wizards of the Coast decision-making practices have been very data-phobic. I would love it if those practices would change with Arena. But based on their previous actions, they're not super data-friendly. I assume we're going to see Root Snare in response here, because they don't want me to get Dovin into ultimate range, probably. We're actually not in a great spot right now, because my opponent's guaranteed to flip Search for Azcanta next turn, so with that and Reclamation in play, we're incredibly unlikely to get another turn. I'm kind of surprised they didn't play Blink in response here.
In simplicity.
So this ults in 2 turns. It might not have 2 turns though. Am I supposed to play this other Dovin? So next turn they block 4. And then they take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I should have made a token. I messed up. I should have minus this. I'm playing other Dovin. But don't lean into your mistake. Don't make a bad play to make up for the fact that I already made a bad play. Why would a game design company be against data? I do not understand. Because if you don't release public data, you control the narrative of what's happening in your game. So, like, take Wilderness Reclamation, for example. If all of the data was public and it showed that Wilderness Reclamation was actually oppressive, you would have people writing detailed articles explaining that this needs to be changed and demanding action. Without releasing the data, if people like myself feel like there is an issue, it's just us banging on our chest. There's nothing meaningful or statistically relevant that we can really say about it, collecting it on our own. So having a giant free flow of data empowers the people playing the game and takes that control out of the people who have a monopoly on it by having access to as the ones who make it. Why do I think Wizard of the Coast is leaving Reclamation legal? I think they're leaving Reclamation legal because there are people that view banning a card as a failure on their part. And I think there's people that view having to ban something as being embarrassing, which I think is silly. I think banning things is perfectly reasonable, especially when they create play patterns like Nexus, but I'm also not in charge, so. They have a lot of good cards to bring in here on the board. I think I'm actually just going to trim the ops here. They're kind of like filler. I guess Dovin's not that good. I'm going to trim a Dovin and 2 ops. We have streamers. I mean, like, what does a streamer mean, Zombie? There's, like, a huge difference between the small amount of games that I play and, like, having full access to complete data. I mean, they could undo that feel bad, though, Burger. This is, I really dislike the argument that you made here. People make it every time. People are like, well, if you ban a card, it feels bad for the people who bought those cards. You know what Wizard of the Coast could do? Wizard of the Coast could say, hey, send me your Wilderness Reclamations or your Nexus of Fates, and we'll send you any rare or mythic. Hey, we're going to refund you a wild card on Arena. Like, the company that makes those decisions on what's legal and what's not also has it in their power to make it not feel bad when something gets banned. Sir Mustache, thanks for the Prime support. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Sure, yeah, exactly. So, I would like to say, Duress, I also don't like the argument that you're making. I think what you're doing is called whataboutism. It's saying, hey, this thing isn't actually that bad because this other thing is worse. It's possible for one thing to suck more than something else, but both of those things to still not be okay, right? It's like arguing whether or not vomit or diarrhea smells worse, right? Like, they're both bad and they both smell bad, and like one smelling worse than the other doesn't make the other one better. And honestly, I really don't think we need Rampaging Ferocidon back in the format. Like, the new Tibalt Planeswalker is such a perfect, like, it just fits perfectly into, like, having a similar effect while not being overbearing. I'm getting Dovin down rather than Time Raveler because I've already dealt with a couple of their reclamations here, and I want to just get pressure into play. And while Dovin's not a significant amount of pressure, he's at least something. Yeah, Dov, but like, so for people that aren't familiar with Wizards of the Coast and their data making history, Wizards doesn't even just go so far as to like not make all the data available, so much as they've like gone out of their way to ask people who have collected data themselves to stop posting it. If you do a Google search, you'll find articles about the website MTG Goldfish, which you might be familiar with if you're getting into Magic. They used to farm matchup data using a replay tool that was built into Magic Online. And when they started posting really detailed statistics using this tool that was built into the client, Wizards of the Coast asked them to stop and then ultimately removed the ability for them to do that from the client.
Seek and find.
Just imagine that there's a giant flashing liability on the screen for the past 15 minutes. Yeah, basically. It's funny because it's sad. I'm gonna bounce nothing here and draw a card. I think I just give Tamiyo a love tap here. As much as I want to power up Dovin. This card is so good.
Violence is impolite.
Yep. And actually, one of the, I think it's HS Replay. I should know. I'm in a group chat where they've been asking me for feedback, but they have a deck tracker in progress for Arena. So maybe someday deck trackers for Arena will be prevalent like they are for Hearthstone, and we'll have good data because of that. Because third parties are collecting it.
I've got time.
This tech gimmick is worth it.
Teferi is so good. Just he stops them from fogging me too. That's so unreasonable. God bless us. So we get to mortify the search for Azcanta here. Can they restrict how we log our data with the you mean terms of service? I mean, they could just like turn off the output log. So they can totally restrict anyone. They can also make it against the terms of service for you to access data that's outputted by the client. Or to like they can make it an account bannable offense to have something running that collects output from what you're doing. Like, it's their software. They could do literally, and I'm not saying they're going to do that. Like, maybe we've moved into the future of a data-friendly watching. That would be great. That would be a good change in my opinion. But they can basically say and do whatever they want as far as allowing you to access things that interact with their software. And now we're going to see here the power of Blast Zone. Like, I have these two Planeswalkers here to act as disruption, but it basically just doesn't matter, right? Like, they're going to tick this to 3, so I'm actually going to make a token here, because they're going to kill my Planeswalkers next turn. They're gonna blow this up. Tend to catch your YouTube VODs instead of live. Just wanted to hop in and say thanks for the content and entertainment for so long. Haskow, thank you for the half a year. I really appreciate that. Or the year and a half. I appreciate you keeping me around. So, the deck trackers and giving unfair advantages, I think, is a silly place. Wow, they didn't tick this up. That's interesting. I think it's a silly hill to like make a stand on, because the deck trackers are technically just tracking things that you could be writing down on a piece of paper, right? So like they're doing some math for you, but they're technically not doing anything you couldn't be doing yourself. Yeah, they didn't crank this to 3, which is really good for us here. Means I get another turn with my boys. Yeah, because again, like, Teferi is preventing them from fogging me, right? Yeah, so Fearburger, I also think that argument's bad too. So what that argument does is that argument passes off again another game design failure onto the data and the players. So the idea that a solved metagame is a bad metagame, I think is nonsense. Bad metagames are bad metagames. Metagames that produce undesirable gameplay patterns, those are bad formats. Don't blame data for the gameplay patterns that the game designers created, would be what I would say. I think it's silly to say that, like, I think it's silly to be like, oh, they found out this combination of cards that's bad. The fact that they found out is the problem. It's like, no, the fact that there's a bad combination of cards that sucks to play against is the problem. Like, the issue isn't that we found out. The issue is that it exists.
Not just a gadget, but ingenuity.
Which, again, game design is super complicated, and I'm sympathetic to things slipping through the cracks sometimes. But when that happens, you just need to, like, suck it up and be like, we messed up. Here's how we're gonna fix it. It's fixed now. In fact, I would almost prefer that Magic has to ban cards on occasion, because if they're not banning Magic cards on occasion, it means they're not pushing the envelope with their designs. And I'd much rather we play higher powered formats where occasionally something goes over the top and it has to be banned, than have them stay really timid and conservative with how they're creating cards. That's true. I agree with that statement from Evan. Good metagames don't have a best deck. They have several best decks that sit in an equilibrium. Exactly. And ideally, those decks in equilibrium should have a variety of play patterns so lots of different players can find something that they enjoy playing. Your ideal equilibrium is a mid-range deck and an aggro deck and a control deck or something along those lines. How does this deck perform against red deck wins? I have to imagine Goblin Chain Whirler is a total beating. Yeah, and for the reference, the stuff I've been talking about and giving my opinion on for like the last half hour, that is why I don't get invited to things like the Mythic Invitational that happened. Me giving my opinion on things like that is considered combative and showing them in a bad light. They don't like hearing people talk about stuff like that. People that make decisions at the company. And that's fine, right? Like, I've grown to accept that over the last few months. But that's why. Yeah, exactly. Exactly how the format was before Reclamation existed. Before Ravnica Allegiance is still, in my opinion, the best standard format I've ever played. It was just, it had such a perfect mix of things. Well, thanks, Dov. I appreciate that. Yeah, and honestly, at the end of the day, like, I don't need invitations to things like that to do my job, right? Like, there's, you know, 2,000 or 3,000 people here at any given point that support me to be able to say what I say. Yeah, pre-Allegiance, before Reclamation existed. Rex. Alright, I'm gonna take one more draw step at a blue source. I think we can miss for like one turn here, unless they have turn 3 Reclamation. Parry denied. Thank you very much for the brand new tier 1 sub. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're having a good weekend. I actually don't think light up the stage is that bad. My daddy said I was born from a combo, therefore I play a combo. That's such a good line. Alright, someone just asked about the red matchup, so let's see if we can gain some insights here as to how this plays out. Hitting the non-shock land here is good, because it means I don't have to take 2 damage to play a spell next turn, although winning the die roll would have been nice. Think as much as I want to use these Thought Erasures before their hand gets empty, I think I need to just kill Runaway Steamkit on sight so it doesn't live up to its name. Scorn has been very, very good. This is a removal spell that I've I felt like blue-black was like lost but searching for its 2-mana removal spell, and this card really just like filled in that question mark. Thanks, Barry. Yeah, Oathakaya is going to be very good here. And, like, Oathakaya on the surface doesn't look that much better than Moment of Craving, but the fact that it's able to kill Chain Whirler is huge in my experience. Oh, no. I liked my face opponent. Alright, we got one at least. Feels dead, man. Alright, well, we're not dead on board. I go to 4, I jump block a 2-2. Probably can't win the game. I mean, I'm regularly... Oh, I am dead on board. Firebrand, good call. Am dead on board. I'm regularly one of the most watched Magic channels, Zombie. In fact, for the month of January and February, when that whole thing was going on and they were inviting people to that, I was literally the most watched Magic channel on Twitch for both of those months. That's irrelevant to them and their decision-making process. Alright, so am I supposed to trim Saheeli in this matchup just because the tokens died a Goblin Chain Whirler and it takes a little while to get going? I feel like at the very least I don't want 4 of her. This card also isn't stellar. So I saw some people on the SCG tour today leaving Narset in against Mono Red, and maybe that's not crazy. She does turn off Risk Factor, which is sweet. like your opponent risk factors you and you're like, yeah, bro, draw 3 cards, and they don't. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna board these in and cut all of these. And like, she also like digs us to Oath of Kaya's and like other cards that gain life. I think Dovin's very good in this matchup. I get that he wasn't enough to win us that last game, but Dovin gaining us life and making tokens is really good. Like, if Dovin says gain 3, make 3 1/1s in this matchup, that's like really good on average. Fatality Wolf, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for the Prime support. Hey, no problem, Perry. I appreciate the support now. Hey, Gendy, thanks for the 3 months and welcome back. Is this keepable on the play? I think this is keepable on the play. I would snap mulligan this on the draw because I don't think I can't skip making a play until turn 3 on the draw. But I think double Dovin on the play here is fine. He might not be enough to get there, but I think this hand is in the range of keepable. We'd love if they have, like, Vanisho Pyromancer here. That, I think, needs to be mortified. Right on time, 2-mana spell. Right on time. And the evil 4-mana enchantment dominate SCG today. It was on camera a lot, but it was kind of split on winning and losing. Now I think I just start jamming Dovins. Because again, like, if they, like, lightning strike this and then attack him for 2, that's a win for me, I think. If they have Goblin Chain Whirler here, that would be bad for me. I did love that, like, Jerry Thompson, every time Nexus was comboing on camera, he was just, like, off it. Just very straightforward and honest that he was sick of it. It was great. Arc Memes, thank you for the 10-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. So, I agree with your assessment that Wilderness is good against decks that are bad, but all good decks are good against decks that are bad. I think Wilderness Reclamation really tends to stress the non-blue mid-range decks out of the format. I think it is tough for mid-range decks that don't have counterspells to keep up with what Reclamation is doing. You either need to have counterspells or be able to kill them by a very fast turn. Always Live MTGO, thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. That is a handful of magic cards. That is a handful of magic cards. Mazeep, thank you for the 5 months. Welcome back. Is it crazy to take the Wizard's Lightning and just, like, cross my fingers? I think Big Kaya seems okay. I wonder if Big Kaya is worse than... She's probably worse than Liliana, though. I think this is a dead regardless of what I take moment. It feels like a dead regardless of what I take moment.
I look forward to seeing your mistakes. Good assault.
I'm inspired by a good assault. Oh, Dovin. What on God's green earth are your voice lines? What's going on, Synth? Howdy, howdy. Alright, sweet. I get to make another Dovin token. Sign me up. Triple double quad. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
This is just a small example of my genius.
Alright, so I want to tap, so I leave up all my colors here. I think I Karn in plus. I could Karn in minus, but then he dies to Wizard Lightning. I guess he still technically dies to Wizard Lightning. Ooh, that's good. Those are great. Sign me up. Double spell Karns are cheating. Fun facts. Double spell Karns are cheating. Looking to dodge Whirly Boy this turn, yet again. That card's really good against us. Woof. So this shoots this. These two kill this.
Do not pity me.
I don't enjoy seeing things suffer, but I'll make an exception for you.
I think I have to kill this and just hope to draw a removal spell. Nice, Donovan. Yeah, I think the red-green Sarkin deck is great. As far as, like, competitive things are concerned, that's definitely been my top pick so far. Yikes. This did not feel particularly close. Wonder if we want some Lyras in the sideboard. It's probably not unreasonable. I also wonder if these ops in the main deck are good. I feel like I could... So one of the things you can do to, like, get extra board slots is, like, fit reasonable cards from your sideboard into the main deck. So, like, I could trim these ops and, like, get Mortify, Oath, Sorin into my main deck. And, like, that gives me some board slots to, like, help with the red matchup. Like a pair of Lyra. I could also just, like, round out the set of Oathakaya. I could see Bell-Haunt being okay. That's probably not terrible. Bell-Haunt's probably better than this. Bell-Haunt's a card that's good against Chain Whirler, which is nice, because that card kind of dumpsters us. Yeah, the red-green Sarkin deck that we're talking about is one of the many decks that you can find on my website. Click standard decks at the top. You'll find a current deck list and videos of us playing it. I feel like if you have 4 Seraph with the scales in your main deck, you need, like, a really good reason to not have Lyras in your 75. They're just so good together. More importantly, when I upload this deck to YouTube later, should I tag it as Esper Tokens or should I tag it as Esper Hero? I should probably tag it as Esper Hero, huh? I feel like people are more likely to search for that. What did I say my phone game of choice was? Warhammer TCG. That's my walking on the treadmill, play on my cell phone or tablet game lately. The last year or so. Alright, this hand doesn't really have threats in it, but I've got plenty of disruption for Reclamation here. Aramund, thank you for the 7 months. Welcome back. I am feeling much better. Today was the first day I, like, woke up feeling like a person, so that was great. Reclamation with main deck Murmuring Mystic. That's an interesting choice. Think I just take that one? That one unfortunately dodges my Scorn. Hero here is perfect. Hero is a threat. Yeah, this is our 3rd time playing against Reclamation in this set. The deck's fairly popular. It's very good. Am I supposed to kill Search or Reclamation here? I think I'm supposed to kill Search, right? Because I have Teferis in my deck that make Reclamation useless. What's better than Esper? I'm very hesitant to say that, like, a fringe deck that's not an established archetype is, like, better than a deck that's likely tier 1 in the format. Yeah, that's also a very good observation. Reclamation is always going to be an enchantment. Search for Azcanta eventually isn't. And the Reclamation doesn't do a whole lot on its own. The Reclamation is only good if you have something like Azcanta going. Dingo Dante, thanks for checking in for the second month in a row. Welcome back. I appreciate you keeping me around. They thankfully only have 3 cards in their graveyard currently. Alright, so Karn digs us to interaction. Not gonna lie, I visited your website for the first time. It's even more awesome than expected. I really like that you link VODs on YouTube on each checklist page. Yep. The goal of my website as the format gets more established is so you can go there and look for interesting deck lists that you know someone who has experience playing Magic has put some thought into, as opposed to just like combing through random top 8 deck lists and hoping they're reasonable. There's Tamiyo. At least Oath of Kaya kills Tamiyo this turn, which is nice.
Let me aid your research.
Good choice.
Well, I can kill Tamiyo this turn. The problem is her +1 milled them 4 cards.
Your aggression.
So that means her +1 flips the Azcanta, and they have Root Snare. So, like, again, I would expect that this deck's decent against Reclamation, but decent doesn't mean you're even, you know, 70%. It probably means you're 60 at best. My buddy who's playing team blue-green Reclamation in the open, he 2-0'd BBD today, and BBD was playing this deck, or a variation of this deck. What do you think about
I know.
Jaya's Greeting? I don't know what Jaya's Greeting does, Chalky. Hey, look, they missed again. It would be a darn shame if they got 4 more looks here off their land. Wow, did they just miss on their Azcanta activation too? So our opponent is the unluckiest Reclamation player that's ever existed. And it looks like they're still just gonna dumpster us. Because, like, so everything that could go right for us went right here. And I get to kill their Tamiyo, and they didn't combo last turn. But, like, now they get to activate this at end of turn, and then they get another activation next turn. So they get, what's that? They get 9 looks at an Nexus of Fate to get going.
Truly lost.
I have a discard spell that works finally, but, like, I'm still 3 turns at the very least away from killing them. Alright. We got their Nexus of Fate, I guess. What turn is this? We've missed land drops for 2 or 3 turns. This is turn, like, 6 or 7, I believe.
We'll make this look easy.
All right. Let's try again here. The 4-mana Jace is not a stock card for Reclamation, no. It's not a card I'm used to seeing there. Based on how these Reclamation matches have been playing out, these Reclamation games have been playing out, I feel like I want to move up to a third Teferi, Little Teferi in the main deck. Because the games I don't see Little Teferi are really hard in this matchup, it feels like. Thoughts on Saheeli and Murmuring Mystic together in an Izzet deck? It seems like it could be reasonable. Those are both cards that are relatively hard to remove from the battlefield. Oh, that's a tilt. Well, I guess I can play this. Don't have blue. Hey, Dwight. Good to still see you around. Hope life's treating you well. And then not only is it good for the root snares, but like Little Teferi like soft counters Reclamation, right? Land. Ding, ding, ding.
I don't enjoy seeing things suffer, but I'll make it.
All right, hopefully they Chemister's Insight at our end of turn so we can despark them while they're tapped out. Thanks. All right, we had some disruption. We have a clock. Let's go. I ideally want to draw like a Narset or a Little Tef or a counterspell here, just like one more piece of disruption. But we're giving it the college try, as they say. Sweet. And they don't have a fog up here, which means Dovin's gonna get to ult next turn, which is sweet. Alright, gotta take Tamiyo. I'm actually like really surprised they didn't leave up the fog here in the face of Dovin plussing. If they hit a Reclamation here, we could potentially lose the game.
This will come in handy. It's not clairvoyance. I've just improved the search algorithm.
Wow, that down tick was bad. You know, maybe I was supposed to take only one Narset and take a land, so that way I could impulse this first Narset to hit the Veto, because when we missed on Veto with the Dovin down tick, we were pretty likely to find it with her, right? Because we're looking at another 4 cards there, and we just bottomed 7 cards that weren't it. Hey, Brusaya, thank you for the 2-month resub. Hey, appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around.
Meditate and Prepare.
These contraptions have...
Are they dead? They're dead on board, right? No, I'm one short. I'm one short. And I can't just despark this for people wondering, because they have negate. And they get a token when they cast negate, even if I counter their negate. I think with Veto and Despark and Narset, like, they should be dead next turn anyways. Like, I don't think it matters, but I think we're gonna get a game 3 here at least.
You are a mighty warrior. I concede.
You are a mighty warrior.
How you play the hand you're dealt.
The nice thing about this Veto is they can't even protect a thing with their negate. So it's just a firm no button. Just that. Stop it. That's brutal, Legacy guy. How many Tamios does Simic run? It varies. I think 4 is the correct number. But I don't think everybody's playing 4. I believe there are people that have not been convinced it should be a 4 of yet. Can you explain why you think Saheeli is bad in this matchup, but Bell-Haunt or Lyra would be good? I agree with you that Saheeli is not good in this matchup, but I think she's better than those other 2 cards you just named because she costs less mana. Have you ever piloted the Reclamation Nexus of Fate deck on stream? Yeah, last season I believe we played it a little bit. If I recall correctly. I think I'm supposed to give them a window to do a thing here. Even though I have the Veto, because I just need to add more pressure to the table. Like, only leaving a 2/2 in play just gives them too many turns. And then hopefully I hit a land next turn and we go second hero, hold Veto up for the rest of the game. There is a blue-green Nexus deck in the queue. And the version that I have in the queue has four what's it called in it. I got a job today and a cool sword. Well, congrats on landing the job, happy man. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, Reclamation does not make for good television. The couple of times we've played it, the viewer numbers drop off almost immediately. The downtick copies everything. Ash, thank you for the 5 months. Welcome back.
Genius is as genius does.
Triggers. Alright, you killed one of my heroes. Yep.
surprised that you yield. You may regret that choice.
Alright, we have Despark here. I guess I could have down-ticked this and then had Saheeli copy this, and that would have forced them to root snare this turn. Because they don't currently have to root snare this turn. Alright, they're going to anyways, that's good for me. We played a decks with Karn and Saheeli that I really liked. Yeah, the, we played a Jeskai Saheeli deck. Hey, look, a card that rebuys Fog. Yay! We played a Jeskai Saheeli deck on stream the other day. That was the deck of the day. If you go on my website and you click videos favorites, you'll find it very easily there.
Cease this.
The time has come.
So, Reclamation's gone. And they thankfully don't have 7 lands yet, which means they can't cast Reclamation naturally. They don't have to root snare this, so they might not. They are anyways, sure.
To the library.
The new Sorin is slow and fair, which means it's almost certainly not modern playable.
Time to come up with a new plan.
Modern is a format that is about brutal efficiency.
Seek and find.
Tamiyo just actually does everything their deck could ever want to do. They've just naturally drawn Reclamation 2 turns in a row. I think 3-mana Vivian's really sweet. I think it's probably really good in like some kind of Frilled Mystic mid-range deck. Like either blue-green teamer or Bant.
I think you will find my notes helpful.
We actually, the Bant Vanifear deck we're going to be playing later tonight has little Vivian in it. I think I'm going to shelve this one for now. I think if I were going to try and play this deck with how much Reclamation I've been running into, at the very least I would get a 3rd copy of this in here. Honestly, I'd probably just put Narset in the main too. It probably just needs to happen. I'd probably trim one of these. You could maybe even go really hard and get the 4th Teferi in here. I would definitely have the 4th Teferi in the board. You need this card. And even then, it's not enough a lot of the time. Between the Reclamation matchup not feeling like a slam dunk and the red matchup feeling hard, this deck really kind of felt like it left a bit to be desired for me. I'm not really sure, like, what my position is that I'm supposed to be preying on or doing well against if I'm bad against both the red aggro decks and the Reclamation decks. Yeah, I think if we had access to Thief of Sanity, we'd probably be a little bit better against the against the Reclamation deck. We'd be able to use their disruption against them at that point. So a more traditional a more traditional non-Saheeli hero deck is probably better against Reclamation, which I would believe is reasonable because this build did not feel good against Reclamation. We're gonna move along here for the evening. I think my nose is trying to kill me. I think